You came back. It is night, and the sky is full of visions. Watch where they all point. There is no substitute for getting into the Word of God on your own. I am a line on a screen. The book is alive. Read it. Zechariah, like Haggai, was urging the exiles to rebuild the temple, but he did it differently, through a series of strange, vivid night visions, packed with hope and mystery. Patrolling horses, a golden lampstand, a measuring line, a flying scroll, a fresh green branch. And here is the thing about Zechariah. Almost every vision points in the same direction, forward, to a coming king. In fact, this quiet little book contains more clear prophecies about Jesus than almost any other book in the Old Testament. It is a book that keeps pointing, past the rubble, past the present struggle, to the one who is coming. This is Zechariah. Here is the question Zechariah answers, and it is the question of every weary in-between season. Is there a king coming who will finally make it right? Because the people Zechariah spoke to were exhausted. They had come back from exile, but everything was small and hard. The temple was a fraction of its former glory. The nation was weak. The grand promises God had made felt impossibly far away. They were stuck in the unimpressive middle. And the question underneath their weariness is the same one underneath ours. Is there actually a rescuer on the way? Or is this struggling, ordinary, in-between life all there is ever going to be? Is anyone coming to make it right? And Zechariah's entire answer is yes. Look up. A king is coming. And vision after vision, he shows them and us exactly what that king will be like, hundreds of years before he arrived. Vision by vision, Zechariah sketches the coming king. First, he sees a figure God calls the branch. And stunningly, this branch will be both a priest and a king at the same time. In Israel, those two offices were always kept separate. But one is coming who will be both. He will build the true temple, and he will rule. A fresh branch growing from a dead stump. Then comes one of the most specific prophecies in the Bible. Zechariah cries, "Rejoice! See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, yet humble, riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. Not a war horse, a donkey. A king whose power arrives in humility, who proclaims peace to the nations." 500 years later, Jesus rode into Jerusalem on exactly that, a donkey's colt, and the crowds knew precisely what he meant. And then a vision that must have bewildered Zechariah. God says, "They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as for an only child." The coming king will be pierced, wounded by his own people, and they will grieve. But watch what comes right after the piercing. God says on that day, a fountain will be opened to cleanse them from sin and impurity. From the place of the pierced one, a fountain of cleansing flows and washes the guilty clean. The king is wounded, and from his wound flows the washing. 500 years before the cross, Zechariah saw the pierced king and the cleansing fountain in the same breath. Here is the turn. The king you are waiting for already came, humble and wounded for you. We spend our lives waiting for rescue to look a certain way. Powerful, triumphant, arriving in a blaze of glory to fix everything at once and put all our enemies in their place. We want a king on a war horse. And Zechariah showed, 5 centuries ahead of time, that the real king would come the opposite way. Not on a war horse, but on a donkey. Not crushing his enemies, but being pierced by the very people he came to save. Humble, lordly, wounded. And that means the rescue you are aching for is not some distant maybe out on the horizon. It already happened. The king already came. He already rode in on the donkey, exactly as promised. He was already pierced, exactly as promised. And from that wound, exactly as promised, a fountain opened to wash you clean. You are not waiting for a king who might come. You are looking back at a king who already did, and who was wounded for you. There is a thread, and in Zechariah it is woven tighter and earlier than almost anywhere. Every one of these strange visions comes true at one place, the cross.
The branch who is both priest and king, Jesus, our great high priest and king, winged from the cross. The humble king on the donkey, Jesus, riding into Jerusalem days before he died. The one they pierced, and when Jesus was crucified, John's Gospel quotes Zechariah's exact words. They will look on the one they have pierced. Even the chilly details. Zechariah saw the good shepherd poised at 30 pieces of silver and thrown to the potter. That is the precise amount Judas was paid to betray Jesus, money later used to buy a potter's field. And from the pierced sword of Jesus on the cross flowed blood and water, the cleansing fountain Zechariah saw open to wash away sin. 500 years earlier, Zechariah saw the humble pierced king and the fountain from his womb, and it all came true down to the silver on one Friday afternoon. That is the thread, and it has a name. Jesus. Read it. I will see you in the next one, the last one.